Okay.
Okay, so now we are presenting the Master in Color Design and Technology. So the aim and the goal of this master is to train our students to become some color experts. So after this master, you will be a color expert in your field. So if you're interested in fashion design or interior design or other applications. And this figure is highly required by the market, and so you will learn how to manage color, how to deal with color in different contexts using different tools. The main professional outcome is this one, so to become a color expert, so become color expert in color management, to know how to apply color in different applications, for example, for communication, for the marketplace, for advertisements. So you will learn how to control, design, and manage the color in different fields. So let's talk about the structure of this master.
This master is divided, let's say, in 3 phases. The first one are called fundamentals. Here we handle the theory. So we handle subjects like physics, optics, colorimetry, chemistry, and psychology. Let's do that in this part. We also see, for example, how works some specific software and hardwares to handle color science. And then we have the project works phase, that this is really the practical part and experimental part where let's say the students do really projects, practical project from interior design, from industrial, marketing, and so on, to put in practice what they have learned during the fundamentals. Like in the last phase, instead, we have the internship. Is 2 months, and the students have, let's say, a choice from a big selection of companies to ask their, let's say, training, their practical part. So, like I said, the structure of this master is divided in 3 phases: fundamentals, project work, and internship. So the objective, we already said, for fundamentals, theoretical part, project works, let's say, practical part, together with the theory, and then the internship in the industry. The fundamentals are divided in 4 parts. We have history, perception of color, colorimetry and color system, digital color, and color application. For project works, we have color in communication design, color in fashion design, color in interior design, and color in the design of industrial products, and color in the urban space. We give a little bit more details now about this.
Yes, so in the first part, which is the fundamentals, you will learn a lot of theory. As you know, color is it's really strictly linked with the culture of people of different countries. So we will start talking about the history of the study of color, for example, the different color models. We talk about, for example, Goethe, its studies about color, the color wheels. And this part is strictly linked with studies in sociology or art and culture, but also color naming. Why this part is important? Because at first we have to learn what is color from a cultural point of view, from also an emotional point of view. If you say, for example, if you use the color yellow in Italy for the marketing of a product, for a brand identity, you are meaning something that maybe it's not the same in another country, like in Japan and so on. And in the same way, also the way in which we call colors, it's different. It has different meaning. For example, in Italy, we have different names to say light blue, because we have azzurro, but we have also ceruleo and blue. And so you have to learn how also, which is the meaning, the intercultural meaning of color in different countries. And also this part is strictly linked also with the art, with the knowledge of different art and artists, and also in the way in which they use color. For example, there is a huge difference between the use of color of impressionists like Monet, but also like Delacroix, and with the more classical painters. So this part it's part of the history of the color and the culture of color in the world. And so after this part more humanistic, strictly with the humanities, so you will have a more scientific part.
So the second fundamental is called colorimetry and color systems. So basically here we are going to see how we produce color from a physics point of view, from a chemistry point of view, from optic point of view, and from mathematics. Sounds really hard, but instead it's not, because here we delve in very important, interesting topics. For example, in terms of chemistry, which pigment do we need to use to make a blue paint? In terms of physics, which technology we can use to represent the color on our TV? This is done in a theoretical part. Of course, we will have also some practical exercise to see, but this is, let's say, is the main core to understand how color it is in our life from, I repeat, from a physics point of view to a chemistry point of view. And of course, done this second part, fundamental, that is a little bit more theoretical, here we are going to digital color. Digital color, here we see how really different technology works in practice. For example, here we are going to study how it works a LED TV, how it works a printer. And moreover, we are going to see, for example, if I have a blue color on my screen, how it will be reproduced on a printed paper. What are the, let's say, the factors that influence the printed color? So here we will exploit hardware and software to see how we can have the best digital reproduction. And this is very important for movie restoration, for example, and also for digital photography and for printing. Yes, then we have a part called the color application. And here, as we said, also in the third part, we exploit hardware and software, and we are going to see different application. One already mentioned is, for example, movie restoration, but we are in digital photography, but we will see also marketing, we will see software for interior design and so on. Please, Alice, if you want to add.
So in this part, for example, in the previous years, but also this year, the students had the possibility, the opportunity to do some practical work. For example, they developed an app, and also they make the advertisement for this app, which is an app which aims at choosing for the user the right color for the clothes due to the mood or due to the weather. For example, it's winter, today I'm so sad, so what can I put on this morning? And they made also different designs. For example, in this period, they designed different masks for different users for have a big market and develop an interesting product for the young public. But also they designed also some electrical bicycle. They made the design and they made the advertisements, so they had to choose the color for the brand to define the brand identity of the industry which produced the bikes. And so they made a lot of really practical work. And those works are made with experts, with professionals. For example, we had made different collaboration with Vialetti to make the design of different coffee machines. But so the important part is that there is a work in close contact with professionals, with industries, and with companies. So you will learn how to manage color from different contexts. And also you can also choose if you have some preference. For example, if you're more interested in fashion design, you can work then during the internship in a fashion design industry. And so we have a lot of different students coming from different countries with different interests, cooperating together and creating something new. And this is one of the main, the most amazing thing of this master, so that we have a lot of different students with different, very, very different background and different culture. And working in this international environment is really enriching, because, as I already said, color is something which is linked with the culture of different people. So students learn also from other students, and not just by the teacher or the professionals on which them are working. And so we suggested to choose this master, because you will learn the colorimetry, and you will learn how to use color from humanistic and scientific point of view. And you will become a real color manager and a color expert, whatever is your domain, whatever is your field. For example, we have different architect students, but also students which are more interested in the car design, but also coming from the interior design industry or the urban space industry. So it's a master made for different students with different background and different interests. And so now
I just would like to add that at the end, color is part of our daily life. And when you enter in a hardware store, or when you enter in the supermarket, there are people that they focused on marketing, and there are reasons why some products there are some color. And then you will learn also that, for example, if you go to a hardware store and you want to buy a paint for your wall, for your house, they give you the Pantone Atlas. And behind the Pantone Atlas, it seems, but there is a lot of work done for many years, that is amazing, because many students really like it, because finally they understand how color influences psychologically, but also scientifically our life. So I would say that we are done. So thank you very much, and we hope to see you in our master.
Thank you. Maybe you were going to address the application process, maybe briefly. I think, Alice, were you not going to introduce the application process?
Elisa, can you tell us?
Yes, sure. Mainly, as for the master in lighting design, more or less, let's say, the process is the same, and mainly you may find here in the presentation the link to which you may address, that is also on the web page, of course, of the master in the area named admission. So you will have to fill a form with your personal biodata mainly, and to upload your documents, your selection documents that are the CV, the motivation letter, a portfolio that is not mandatory. It is advised to send it for candidates having a background in design or architecture, but it's not mandatory, of course, because as Alice and Simone were saying, this master is addressed to, let's say, profiles coming from very different backgrounds. So it's, of course, not mandatory having a background in design or architecture. So as a consequence, the portfolio is not mandatory as well. And then you will have to add also a scanning of your bachelor degree and of your university transcript and passport or ID card, mainly because the selection process goes on to, let's say, two different paths. Of course, there is an evaluation of your profile based on your CV, on the motivation why you would like to take the master and so on, that will be analyzed by the master board, and it will be done during the selection interview that will take place after having sent those documents. And of course, for candidates having a foreign title, Politecnico di Milano will make also a verification of the official title in terms of recognition in the Italian system. So that's why we ask also for these documents, these official documents in terms of scanning of the bachelor and scanning of the transcript. And then after having sent those documents, we will get in touch with you by email to fix a selection interview. And after that, of course, you will receive always by email the feedback about your eligibility for the master. As mentioned, mainly the maximum number of people taking place in the master is 30, and the very last deadline to apply for the next edition, that is going to be in spring 2021, is going to be end of March 2021. The selection is already open, so mainly we generally suggest not to wait until the very last day before applying, because as mentioned, the number of places that are available is limited, and we go also on a chronological order in order to fix selection interviews and so on.
Great, thank you, Elisa. I guess since we had quite a wide spectrum of masters this afternoon, maybe Gabriele and Alice could explain how can a portfolio differ for your course compared to the courses we've heard before. How can a person know that they should apply to a color design master's instead of a lighting design one, for example?
Sorry, we have to say that we had lagging in your question. We understood that you asked something about the portfolio of the courses, but if you can kindly...
Of course, yes. So I was just wondering, since some people have stayed with us for the whole afternoon and have heard presentations about the different masters, how would you say a portfolio for your course would differ from ones before for fashion tech, for example, or lighting design? How can somebody know that they should apply to a color design master's, for example?
Okay. We haven't seen all the presentation of today, but I can say that we have really different courses, and we have one is called colorimetry, is the main core, is also the name, the second fundamental. And of course, we have physics, mathematics inside. We also, this year we did also a little bit of programming. So then we had course really in marketing strategy, how to use color in marketing strategy. We had also physics, chemistry. So like I was mentioning, how to deal with materials to create color. We had a lot of also for design. We also covered several hours on light design, because it's required in our master, but also it's required to know how, let's say, how to design a light for making color. Our let's say master has the word technology, and so we are going through strictly sometimes technical courses. In fact, we have a lot of project that involves the use of software and hardwares. So if I can also, maybe for mention to the people that they apply, we don't teach, for example, I don't know, PowerPoint or these tools. We usually ask that you already know, because we are going to use more complex software and hardware in these classes?
Yes, if I can say also something, I think that the most amazing thing is that in this master there is a union between the academic world, so the university, and also the industry, because all the teachers come from the university, but also them are experts and professional in different fields. So I think that it's really enriching the things, because you will have the education from at the university level, so from professors and researchers from the university who deal with color every day, who work with color every day, but also you will have the industrial point of view. So you will put together all those knowledge, and this is the most amazing part about this master. For example, I'm from the University of Milano, and I follow different courses because them are really interesting. Maybe for me, the most interesting are the one made by the different professionals, but also if you come from more the marketing, or if you have worked a few years inside the industry, it would be really amazing also to follow the courses made by the academics from the professor from the different university, Politecnico, but also University of Milano and other universities all around Italy. So I think that also this one is it's a really interesting part, because there is the theory, but also a lot of practice.
In fact, we have a team of students that this year, for example, they design an electrical bike. At the same time, they learn how to design in this period a mask, let's say in relation with your buff short or with your bikini. So they become really experts on color in multiple application and fields. So I think that this master is what people is the one that you have to choose if you want to be a color expert, from automotive industry to fashion model industry.
Great. We have a question about the professional field. How well recognized are POLI.design courses among big brands and companies?
Okay, this is another question. And so, Politecnico is well known in Italy, and especially the Politecnico of Milano is a big name all around the north of Italy, but also in the whole Italy and in Europe and in the world. So this master, it's not just a little master made by a little university, but you can have also the name of Politecnico. And so it is really well recognized, because all around here in the Lombardy region, but also in the whole Italy, there is a strict collaboration between Politecnico and the different industries. In fact, as you can see on the website, there are a lot of collaboration with industries, companies, and little studios with the Politecnico, because the industries know that the people who come from the Politecnico are expert, but also because at the difference between the other universities, students know how to do things, know how to practically apply what they have learned. And this is the important thing, and also there is a strict collaboration with different industries and companies.
Yeah, we have connection also with multinational company, and just to tell you that tomorrow we have 2 hours, what we call empowerment. I don't want to, let's say, make publicity for any company, but tomorrow we have 2 hours of empowerment with a very well-known company that makes printer and also, for example, virtual reality glasses. So the students will be in contact also with the possibility of internship with this company. So, and we have a lot of connection. I count on my, let's say, on my agenda, or let's say, or on my Excel, if I can say that I have contact with approximately 100 industries, and some are worldwide and very well known.
Wonderful, thank you. What about, I was wondering about the interview process. How can candidates prepare for the interview? What should they read? Maybe some books, some blogs you could suggest?
No, what we really ask is just to have, in general, a small mathematical background, at least to know the basic math, to know a little bit of softwares like PowerPoint, but usually we kind of start from scratch. So they should not, prepare like for an exam. We start color from zero. So
and, we want to know your history.
Yes.
So we want to know your background, your interests, and so what's your aim, what's your purpose? Because the interview is also useful for the student to know if this master is really suitable for him or her. So it's more like a conversation. So we'll ask what is the background, if he had previous experience with color, things like this, and then we talk about the master. And so also if the students has some question, he can make us different questions about the master. And so the main thing that we ask is the history of the students and the background.
Yes, once we know the background, we can also, let's say, I am the teacher of the colorimetry. This year there were 9 students, 7 were from humanistic, like I said, basic math. So I had to recover in a few hours just what we did in high school. So not to scare the students, because sometimes they hear somewhere like math and technology and they say, no, we care about everything and we bring you to success. So actually our interview knows how to prepare best the program for you.
Wonderful. I think you partly answered this one. It's about the internships and whether students can be considered by international companies as well as Italian ones for their internships.
Sincerely speaking, I cannot really answer to this question. I have, like I said, more than 100 let's say, company. Most of them are international, but if I don't remember wrong, we ask to do the internship anyway on the Italian ground.
Yes, maybe on an now it's an hard question because with the COVID issues, so there are different things that are different from the previous years. So because if everything goes well, and we hope so, and the students are asked to come in Italy, and so we usually make internship in Italian in the Italian territory. So also with the international industries, but in the base here in Italy. So you will be anyway in an international environment during the master and during the internship, but in Italy. But we'll see, because this COVID situation is changing different things. So maybe we will.
For example, the company that I'm not going to say the name of tomorrow said we are looking for an internship for a person. He has to stay in Italy, but he will remotely work with US, because they need to do, let's say, some measurements here, some measurements over there. So we have about the opportunity to travel. I don't know, maybe the company itself can do something, but in general, also the international company, we have the contact with R&D located in Italy. Yeah. Then, like Alice said, this year is really particular because we don't know how we can move, what we can do. So I mean, for example, I guess that going to US in this moment is practically impossible. So
we'll see.
we'll see.
Great. Somebody's asking if you can give an estimate number of how many applications you receive every year for the courses, for one course. Maybe Elisa can tell us an estimate.
Well, mainly it much depends, of course, on all the masters, but also on the specific master. It generally is around at least double the number that are available or reached. So mainly, of course, it much depends on the year, on the edition, and so on. So mainly, it's not very easy to find a reply, to give the proper reply, let's say, that the specific reply. But mainly there are usually much more applications than available places. So that's why, as I was mentioning before, while explaining the selection process, since the selection also takes place according to the chronological order, it is better, of course, to apply as soon as possible instead of waiting for the very last minute, because it's not usually easy to manage the application from that point of view as well.
Somebody's asking if internships are usually paid and if they're a stipend for the period.
For what I know, it depends from company to company.
Yeah.
Some company will do it, some company will not do it, some company will give you benefits.
So the payment of the student is not mandatory in Italy. So we say, because there is a law who allow company to not pay you, but a lot of companies decide to give a sort of reimbursement to the students, so pay maybe the travels or the lunch and so on. So we usually say, start thinking that you won't get anything, and then if something comes,
It's better.
it will be better for you. But then you have also to know that the internship lasts around 2 months. So it depends also by the company, by the location of the company, the industry, or the studio, and so it depends.
Great. What about the final projects? What sort of projects do people work on? Could you give us some examples of excellent projects you've seen over the years?
You mean regarding, okay, because, you know, the fundamentals have, each fundamental has an exam. Each project work has an exam. What I can say for one of the fundamentals, there was a project to focus on a specific topic. Another fundamental asked to solve some exercise. Another one, there was a project like, this is a corrupted video, restore the color. The project works, there were some people making dirty themselves in a project with paints. There were some people designing a bag. And the internship, it depends. Some company ask for measurement with specific tools like a spectroradiometer or spectrophotometer. Some other company ask you to work on a software or to do programming of coding. Usually the final exam is the presentation of your internship, but we have also intermediate, let's say, exams. I hope that I answered your question.
Yes, I think, you know, I wonder if people have questions about what sort of product do you come out with if you do a master's in color design, you know, and maybe what professions you come to, because it seems like color touches everything. So I guess it's a very diverse master's that offers a lot. What sort of professions? I think you touched upon it during your presentation, but maybe you could remind us a little bit what professions people can aspire to after such a master's?
It touched so much that you can be a programmer from printing. You can go to car design, color design for automotive, so for cars. You can go to work in paints industry to make painting, to see, also to do marketing. So for industrial products, it can be from water to milk. So you become expert in so many fields that then it's up to you what to do. I mean, in my case, I'm a computer scientist, so I'm more in the part of coding and programming for the industry that they ask for color calculation.
Yes, but so there are different professionals. So the main thing is to become a color expert. So like a colorist, for example, if you're interested in the part of marketing, advertisement, but also video editing, image editing, you will the work is the colorist. So you will know how to fix color, how to restore color, and also how to create express a color mood or emotion through colors. So and that part it's given to the students, because we have different students who come with the defined idea. So for example, I want to go inside the car industry or the fashion design industry, so I will apply all this knowledge to do this. But we have also different students who have no idea of what to do after the master, and so they will choose among all the different opportunities that they will see during the master, during the empowerment, or during the internship and the practical experience. Because we have the empowerment are made, for example, by a colorist who make colors for the advertisement, but also from an expert in the industry of paints. So she designs rooms, interior designs, but also she's an expert in the materials to get the different colors. And so you will have also the opportunity to choose what you want to become, what you want to do.
For example, just this year we had an empowerment, also some lecture on color therapy, really psychology, and now we have a students that wants to follow this teacher to do the color therapist, because color is also in psychology. There is a method called the Lucia, and this girl decided wants to follow the same profession of this teacher. So like I said, we really cover so many things that I think there is this year a student said, I would like to open my company afterwards.
Wonderful, thank you so much. I think we're coming to the end of this session, but maybe a couple of questions more. Somebody asked something similar earlier, if it's possible to apply to 2 courses at the same time, if we have doubts on about what we'd like to do. Maybe Elisa can explain to us if it's a possibility again.
Yes, sure. This is a question that is quite usual. We have seen it also in the previous batch. Mainly, yes, of course, you can apply to different master, or even more different master at the same time, mainly because we know that maybe you might have some specific question in order to better understand, let's say, your if one master or the other matches better your future professional objectives. So mainly that's for sure a point that can be done, and mainly you can apply, and we fix different interviews with the different boards that are also able to let you understand exactly what will be done during the master, and if let's say the contents of each master match what is your aim for your future career. So yes, absolutely yes.
Great. This is a more general question. So we have a graduate in industrial engineering and management who has had a 2 years experience in product design and 1.5 years experience in furniture design. Would they be eligible to apply for a master's in furniture design or product design? I don't know if maybe Elisa wants to answer. Or...
Yes, most probably it's an anticipated question for the next section, but mainly, yes, of course. We haven't yet explained the future, let's say, selection process, but mainly it's also in this case, it will be a matter of sending all the documents, CV and portfolio, and during the selection interview, all these aspects of your profile will be analyzed. So mainly, on the other side, what I would like to say is that if you don't have I don't know, 5 years experience in a specific field, that does not mean that you are not going to be taken or considered eligible for the master. So every profile of every student is taken into consideration by the master board from the different points of view. So if you don't have 100 projects in your portfolio, it's not a problem. They can be 2, but they are focused in the field. So you could be eligible all the same. So mainly, of course, the answer in this case is yes, you could be eligible. And mainly, yes, your profile will be analyzed by both the boards, and we will let you have a specific feedback based on what is mentioned, not only these 2 lines of explication about your CV, but the whole, let's say, profile that you show from your portfolio, your motivation letter and objectives for your future career, your portfolio, and so on.